Hang on, I'm not joking. You guys do that, not me. Okay? Hi, my name's Melissa and I'm a professional soul singer. Today on Soul Singer Discovers... Bonsoir, my vibrant dudes. Has your week been merry? I hope it has. I hope you've had a joy-filled week and you've done at least one thing that scares you. Welcome back to another Soul Singer Discovers. Today on Soul Singer Discovers, we're going to be doing a very special Nightwish sort of discovery. We're going to be discussing many things. But before we do, it's time for another Metalhead Musings. We have a twofer today on Metalhead Musings. That's right, we have two Metalhead Musings. The first one comes from Golscamp. Who knows? Miss Piggy was the sexiest Muppet. She was indeed. We don't deserve Miss Piggy. Jeremy Perry also says, imagine Miss Piggy with teeth. For those of you who are concerned that I might have went off the deep end, we had a discussion in one of my previous videos about Miss Piggy. This is what this is about. Whenever I start and say something absurd, believing that no one will continue the absurdity, here we are. You guys do that, not me. Thank you, Jeremy Perry and Golscamp, for your Metalhead Musings. If anyone would like to watch the Muppets Christmas Carol with me, please let me know. Speaking of the festive period, a trend that was started by one of my regular commenters, Mark Smith. If you would like to receive a Christmas card from me, I'm not joking, sign up to my Patreon before the 31st of November. Wait a minute, 30 days have September, April, June and November. Hang on! Sign up to my Patreon by the 1st of December, just to be safe. But if you sign up, I will physically send you a Christmas card. Because I am what the French call a psychopath. Today. We are doing Nightwish today. We're going to do a sort of blow by blow, verses, cheek to cheek, phrase to phrase. We're going to be talking about the singers of Nightwish, that's right. Now, before we get into it, I would point out one thing, and it's an important thing. I understand that the Nightwish army are very passionate about their band and very passionate about the music, but I need you to understand it is a band. It is a band, they are playing music, therefore, if I say something that is contrary to what you believe about your band, you need to understand that A, that's not a personal attack on you, B, it's not a personal attack on the band either, and C, you're not in fact currently on the Gaza Strip, so calm down. Okay? That be the truth of the matter, people. What I'd like to do today is a vocal analysis of both the vocalists from Nightwish. I have taken some small clips of them singing the same song, put them together so I can discuss the differences between both vocalists. Let's pop over to Rosie the Robot so I can find out some new details about both singers of Nightwish. Tarja Turunen was one of the founding members of Nightwish and served as the band's lead vocalist from 1996 to 2005. She possessed a classically trained soprano voice which added a distinct operatic element to the Nightwish sound. Tarja's departure from the band in 2005 was a highly publicised event and led to the formation of her solo career. Despite her departure, Tarja has occasionally collaborated with Nightwish on special occasions, such as the band's 20th anniversary concert. Annette Olsen joined Nightwish in the band's lead vocalist since 2007. Floor Jansen, 2012 to present, joined Nightwish as a touring member, initially filling in for Annette. Okay, we are not doing Annette today, we're doing Tarja and Floor today. So the first example is us listening to The Phantom of the Opera. We have Tarja first and then Floor, both singing the exact same section. For me, Phantom of the Opera is one that I know quite well. I am a massive fan of Sarah Brightman. I think she has the most angelic voice. Okay, so this first example is Tarja doing The Phantom of the Opera.
Which calls to me and speaks my name, and do I dream a
Okay. So Tarja has like, and this is another thing with singers who English is not their first language. I always am very interested what vowels they choose to use, because of course vowels are really important in vocals, especially if you're singing something classical, because it's the difference between you being able to create the correct note and not. Her vowels are really strange. I'm going to put that absolutely down to English not being her first language. They're not vowels I would pick for sharesies, even if I was doing more covered vocals. Despite the fact that she's singing a more classical style, it's a lot more aspirate than it is mix. I would expect it to be slightly richer at the bottom end, because that's, I mean, a lot of classical vocalists, despite the fact that they're singing incredibly high vocals, although this is not particularly high, it's quite a beefy texture, because they're not actually singing in their head voice, they're singing in a mix. This feels very heady. Of course, head and chest, I'm talking about la and la. I also think that with this one, instead of it being more foo, she's doing more like foo. There's a lot more breath coming through than I would expect. Maybe that's a stylistic choice, to be honest, because it is obviously a more down part of the song before it builds into the extra part. All in, I like Tarja's voice. I mean, of course I do, because I have nothing but respect for any vocalist at this level. I would be crazy not to. Let's have a look at Fleur doing it now. This is Fleur Jansen singing the exact same part of the Phantom of the Opera. Okay. Yeah, I think with Fleur... Do you know what I think? Melissa. Psst, Melissa. I think... Hey, you! What is it? I'm sorry, okay, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have something to tell them. Can I tell you and you can tell them? I mean, can it not wait? Take like 2 minutes, bro, just tell them. Okay, like, what is it? Okay, so if you could tell them that I'm currently on Spotify under Melissa Kelly, and it's a collection of EPs and albums that I've released over the past few years, and they can go along and like it, or just send me abusive messages about it, it'd be really cool. Right, I'll tell them. Okay, cool, bye. Did you get that? Go on Spotify, you whores.
And now back to your regularly scheduled programme.
Fleur's always gonna have, Fleur doesn't have a bassy timbre. She just doesn't, but she has more bassy timbre than Tarja. So it's a little bit more of a darker coloured tone when she's singing this stuff. Also, her choice of vowel again is completely different from Tarja, but still vowels that I wouldn't necessarily choose. Very interesting. I think she handles, this is the thing with songs like this. Phantom of the Opera, big songs that are especially musical theatre songs. I know this was written by Andrew Lloyd Webber. They tend to cover your passaggio a lot. Passaggio is the break between your head and your chest. It's roughly the same place for a lot of people, but it can fluctuate by a good 2 tones either side for a lot of different people. Some people manage to be in a place where they can mix right over their passaggio, and some people can't. That being said, Fleur sounds like she mixes a lot more than Tarja does. Tarja sounds very heady and aspirate in a lot of pieces. Tarja put, if you can go back and look if you don't believe me, but in Tarja's the Tarja puts a break before it gets to the bottom, which technically is not a great place to put a breath. So it could be that she leaves a gap there so she can handle the transition into her lower register, because when she went down the octave during the verse, the switch to a lower register felt a lot more crunchy for her, whereas Fleur, it didn't feel half as crunchy. So I imagine Fleur maybe just has more elasticity around going over her passaggio, and you've got to have that mix in songs like this. I think you do. If you're doing the Phantom of the Opera is here, and you don't have a smoother descent into the lower register, it becomes really disjointed. The phantom of the opera is here. Yeah, it can't be doing that shit. It sounds terrible. Moving on to our next example, we've got Tarja singing Wishmaster. So let's hear how Tarja does it. So there was definitely a point there, like, yeah, Tarja goes into her head a lot. She goes into her head a lot, which is why you lose some of the intonation, gets lost in the mix of everything because there's no power behind what's going on. And even if you're a vocalist who has monitors in ears, incredibly good sound engineer, a massive stage, none of these things matter when it comes to projection. It doesn't matter. If you're in a band, you still have to project into that microphone. You will not get away with doing very aspirate, small vocals. I mean, I don't believe that Tarja's doing that either. But because of that head voice, there's two things with head voice. Well, there's three things with head voice. Head voice is incredibly drying. It dries your vocal folds out. If you're constantly going, ah, 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 you're basically just sending that stream of air through your vocal folds, and it's drying out your vocal folds. That's bad enough if you're just singing, but if you're also performing, then you've got your body battling because half your body wants the oxygen because you're jumping about, and then the other half wants it for your voice. So there's parts where she's still up here, but there's a lot of breath coming out, so that it must be really difficult. Oof. I don't envy Tarja, not even a little bit. But it was nice to see Tarja sort of like dancing about. It was nice to see her performing. Let's see how Floor does with the same section of the song. Wishmaster as well. Yeah, it's the same vibe as Tarja. It's that sort of the push and pull between trying not to sing any head voice. Floor handles it, I think, a lot better because she has a darker coloured timbre and she handles the contemporary, for want of a better word, side of the vocals, because of course Nightwish songs are not obviously all of the more operatic sounds. All in all, I think they're both really competent at what they do. Again, mad respect for anyone who is in a band that big, who has, you know, toured and done all that business. Absolutely. I know there was a lot of drama around Tarja leaving the band. I read a couple of different open letters and I'll be honest, bad behaviour. Both beautiful women, both doing a damn good job. We've still to do Annette, which we will get to, but for this first one I wanted to do these two because I was very interested, and a lot of you guys in the comment section said I absolutely should. What do you think of these both vocalists? Yeah, that's an English phrase. No. Have you been a fan since inception? And if so, how do you feel about the evolution of the band? Thank you so much for all of your comments, likes, subs. Do remember to subscribe. Also remember to like the button. You don't have to smash it. You can caress it salaciously. Thank you to my patrons. Until next time, my dudes, the Phantom of the Opera is here inside my mind.